Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour with us. Nadine's back. I'm so excited as we break norms and build dreams. Hi, Nadine.
Hi, it's indeed a pleasure to be back, and I can't wait. I love this monthly hour of ours of having a bit of fun and sharing some stories and tips, and I'm super excited about today's topic too. I know it's like I don't know how hot it is everywhere else in the who's tuning in right now, but here in Vancouver in Canada where I'm based, it's pouring down, and it's like I want a bit of sunshine, and so I guess today we're talking about getting ready for summer.
Yes, right. Is this too bright for everybody? Like, am I glowing? There we go. Just
this is a tiny better, yes.
I know summer. I can't get over that. It's already full swing almost for summertime. Like, I just feel like my kiddo went into kindergarten, so I'm having like a hard time to wrap my head around it.
But they'll be back soon, home for the summer.
Yes, we're actually we have her in summer camps, which we'll dive into a bit more. But let's just do a quick introduction again on who Nadine is, just in case we have any new listeners. So returning to the show is Nadine. Nadine comes in at least, does come in every month. We're kind of playing on really, is it the 21st, or it kind of staggers, but it's all within closer to the end of the month. So if any listeners feel like you want some input and letting us know to make sure Nadine shows always up at a time frame, let us know, leave comments, just because we're just playing it by ear right now and seeing what works. But Nadine is an international coach, life coach for mamas. Maybe Nadine, you speak a little bit more on that, what you do. And I know you like to get the mamas' mojos back. So why don't you tell us more?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Nadine Stille. I'm an international life and career coach for moms. I, like you just said, love to help moms get their mojo back, go after the thing that they can't stop thinking about, and just get more of whatever it is that they like. Usually when I talk to moms, it's always a bit of like, oh, I'm lost in this motherhood journey. I don't know who I am anymore. It's like getting lost in the daily gray grind and all the things that are going on. And it's like, you've always had an inkling of something. It's like, oh, what if I could do this? Or if I had all the time in the world or all the energy in the world, this is what I would do. And this is where I come in and help moms around the world to actually go after that thing and bring a bit more life and joy and energy back, and that passion that's really true to yourself.
Yes.
And so, I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, as I just said, with my family as well. I know you're a mom too. We've connected over so many topics around that as well. And I'm just like really excited. This is a passion topic. It's not just a career. This is really a calling. So I'm living what I'm helping others. It's like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to go and make it happen.
I love it. Yeah. And I find that that's how you and I both connect so much, because it's both our business is such a passion project, like such a passion driven, profit over passion. And I can't say enough. Like, I really built Creative Dynamics on helping moms work from home, parents, women, just to also like get them to thrive in their strengths. Because as somebody who worked kind of in like toxic work environments, like that's something also that I really wanted to put forth of like that safe space for moms, safe space for parents, space, can't speak, for women to come in and just thrive, because we all have our strengths, and having that kind of atmosphere for us to all thrive is very empowering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. So we already have a little, hi, Joe. um,
Hey.
so with that, all the summer greatness, I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bit of a panic attack knowing that it's like I don't like just going back, like I don't know where this year has gone. Like I just can't get over that we're almost in June, like coming in
Mhm.
this week of June. Well, yeah, it's Friday or Saturday is June 1st, and just kind of launching more into the summer brains, not just for moms, but for business too. And I think it's kind of important to hit on today too, that like the economy here has been a little stagnant, a little bit low, a little bit shifting. But I really think the summer's a time for moms in business to kind of either focus with the kids and then also focus in the business I don't want to say time blocking. I feel like time blocking never works for me, specifically with ADHD.
Yeah, and I know when we were like brainstorming topics for today's episode, I was like, I'm sure there's other moms who are like, oh no, it's the end of May, summer is coming. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you're, employed and you're working a career or you have your own hustle, your own business. How are you
Mhm.
gonna manage as a new mom, as a mom of a preschooler, a schooler? Are you going on holiday? Are you staying home? How am I going to stay cool in more sense than just the temperature? How are you
Yeah.
going to make it through summer? So I thought this is a perfect topic, really, to kind of start thinking about those things and not go into the panic mode.
It's a perfect topic. For somebody who is right now cleaning up like a lot of their systems and processes, I'm trying to push and make sure that things are more in alignment before July. So I can maybe take a little bit more off time. What does that look like? I still do not know. And that's the thing I think what's important to talk about too is to give yourself grace as you kind of navigate this a bit, because yes, we're chatting about this today and have some ideas, but it's not going to look the same for everybody. Um, and I find, unfortunately, with social media and or anything that you listen to, you have to kind of always take things with a grain of salt, and try to like leverage what makes sense to you and what's going on with you and your family and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not a cookie cutter um,
Mhm.
type of thing going on here. I'm sure we'll be sharing some stories about what's going on as like our experiences of past
Mhm.
summers and what we've heard. I can share what might you know other moms in my community are going through and what they're doing, and then it always has to resonate. It's not about pushing something through that doesn't feel like it makes sense for you just for the sake of
Mhm.
doing it. It's more like, okay, I can take parts of this tip, or I can share, use part of this, and then I'm going to make it work for me and my family situation or my work situation, and
Mhm.
really, yeah, look for what resonates. It's like, yeah, I'm super excited about this. I want
Yeah.
to try this out. That's what we're looking for.
Yes. So one of the common challenges, what do you maybe you can take it from your personal side of common challenges that you maybe have been facing last year, or what you think that you might face this year, and then I can also share my perspective too.
Challenges making it through summer.
Challenges that you feel like that might be an issue. So maybe there's daycare with only set times, like our daycare, for example. I didn't realize that the new daycare is a little bit sometimes with the school district, like they're not off completely. It's more of like a 2 week in between versus the other one, it was only 1 week. Okay.
Mm. Oh no, that's a
Mhm.
oh, that's a challenge for sure. Yeah, so challenges I can see coming. So it was like, I'm actually not a summer person at all.
No.
It's like, no. So the challenge starts right there of it being, it's like, if it's too hot, I can't cope. It's like, I get easily, it's like headaches, sunburns. It's like I get dizzy if it's too hot, even if I stay out in the shade. So there's all of that going on. So there's a limit of I don't know what it's in Fahrenheit. It's like 25 degrees Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit?
Oh, I'm like the worst.
Okay.
I'm like,
Well, it's kind of mild warm. So that's kind of my ideal, where I can still function properly. And so anything over that would mean that I would really have to adjust, like the times that I'm working, when I'm going outside, the times of or types of activities that I can do either for myself or for, with my family. The other thing is, once that is really impacting me, it's like what I do to stay focused and actually do some work. Right. It's just like so many things. So for me, it starts right in, I'm not really a summer person.
I like fall personally. I just feel like fall's like the perfect like sweater weather. People like to say. And just comfortable like boots, or like I'm a boot person too. But yeah, I kind of in like summer's great, but the unfortunate thing like we can see with environmental changes, it's like from one extreme to the other. I feel like we're not really having like that happy medium anymore. It seems to ebbs and flows to one or the next one. Even like right now, how it's kind of grows, like we're in springish time-ish. It still feels a little bit more like, I don't know, I can't describe it. I'm just not about the weather right now. We always are complaining. We live beautiful places, so at least we can go play golf if we want to.
That's the way. That's the way. So what's a challenge for you then during the summer? So you've mentioned.
Yeah. So the challenge that I can already foresee is that the daycare is closed 2 times a week, which puts a strain, especially like, it's nice that I do work for myself, but I know for like, if I worked a 9 to 5, we were only ever allowed 2 weeks off. So it's like, would I then, like, sacrifice those 2 weeks during those 2 times in the summer and not have Christmas off? Personally, I love Christmas, and so I'd rather use that week in, like, at Christmas time. Obviously, I work now for myself, but that's the unfortunate thing that a lot of parents have to go through is when they're dealing with care, a lot of the care structures are completely different, and you have to completely restructure your whole schedule. So, for example, this year, since we knew that they're off for 2 weeks, we decided to switch our family vacation from August to July. So it's just crazy to think that it's already coming now because we've already bumped it up. So, but the thing is, at least we know that it's one less stressor. We're already all taking that time off, but now I have to figure out what to do in the following August week kind of to come. And I
Yeah.
have 2 kiddos too. So, with my daughter, we're putting her in spring or summer camp. I was going to say spring camp, summer camp, which is the one is great because you can do drop off at 7 a.m. and pick up at 6. Perfect.
Wow, that's nearly like full-time
That's
care.
unheard of,
Full
but
day,
it's
yeah.
very expensive. That's another thing. It's very expensive. Nothing's cheap. But like it was only for 3 weeks that I have her in this, and it's over $1,000, like over 1,500, which is crazy. And you're not even getting free food or anything like that. And then I've decided to do only at that one camp and then switch it up to another camp, and that camp is only between 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So that means I have to figure out drop-offs because it lingers between the other drop-off time. So I'm like, what do I do in between? So my brain's like, maybe just bring your laptop, do one kid drop-off, and hang out at a coffee shop for an hour to the next one, because how we live too is like far away. So it's like, do a drop off, drive back home, and then cross Langford again.
Yeah. And oftentimes I hear other moms like do like carpooling, or they figure out online
Mhm.
when in like local mom groups. So, hey, I'm going to this and this camp.
Mhm.
Who else is going? Can we carpool? It's like the first week I'm doing I'll drop off the kids and you can pick up, or the other way around. And do it that way. This is so much coordinating, right? It's they coordinate the figuring it out first. That's the important part, knowing, so you're not surprised. Then looking how you can manage and like coordinate and organize around it.
All the
And
things. I
yeah.
For myself, what I plan to do is, like I mentioned, I will see how it goes the first week with the new schedule more in August. I feel like it's not gonna be an issue in July at all. It's just mostly gonna be in August, and my brain is just kind of like, "It's just for August, at least it's not like a full
Yeah.
2-month thing." And I did this for a reason, because I wanted, my daughter to be exposed to different camps than just one camp.
Mhm.
To break her a little bit out of her shell a little bit. So it's actually like a farm. So
Wonderful.
it's all like, they'll teach you about like the different animals, teach you how to take care of them, making her go to work.
That's the way. That's the way.
So
But it's
that's Sorry, go for it.
like, when did you sign them up for this? Months ago.
Early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
another thing. That's another issue. If you've not jump on the bandwagon to sign up for summer camps, there's a good chance that you're not going to get your kids in.
Yeah.
Um, Specifically, I know here in Victoria, for those who are new to the show, I'm in Victoria, BC, and daycare, just like any other parts of the world, is usually pretty hard to come by.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I feel like spring or summer camp and spring break, it's like a free for all. And so I'm learning to really need to map out exactly when is the registration date. When
Mhm.
Don't forget about it. Have reminders on my phone, because if you do forget about it, because me thinking too, I was like, I can't have both of them at home.
No, it's like you're working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there's a reason I asked that, because some of the mom groups I'm in as well, it's like, hey, I totally, it's like things at work changed and now you need to organize camp for a week. And they've been all like sold out and full for months, because people like you, they're setting reminders in the calendar months ago. It's like, hey, I want to get into this, and then the favorite camps are kind of sold out and reserved, like fully reserved, right away within the same day of going live.
Yes.
And then you have to stitch care together for weeks.
That Unfortunately, like, we're still even going through that right now, right? With we're not even in summer, but just general care before and after school care. Like, we're
Mhm.
still number 55 on the wait list for before and after school care for my daughter, and it hasn't even moved. So I'm having
Graduating before getting onto.
probably to probably get their license, both of them, by
Yeah.
the time we move momentum there. But luckily, like, I'm like, okay, then I'll start at 9:15 in the day. But the unfortunate thing, like, I'm finding too, when I'm like ready to focus, is 2 o'clock. But unfortunately, I have to stop what I'm doing to go and do pickup
Yeah.
and drive all around Langford. I feel like I am a school bus driver.
Yeah.
No other hat that I'm wearing. But
No.
yeah, that's the
Oh.
unfortunate thing, right? So
Mm.
Um, I know one of the questions is summer camps. I know we're all kind of in different parts, but to what you're just saying, Nadine, what I have learned is there's sometimes the basic summer camps that a lot of people um, know about, and some that they don't know about. So, for example, in July, my kiddo is in Taekwondo, and so they put on summer camps. So there's like little companies, local businesses, maybe within your area, that put on summer camps that don't fully advertise it.
Yeah. And
So,
again, it's coming down to networking, I guess. Is this how you found out? Keeping
well,
an open ear and eye?
well, because we've been in Taekwondo. My daughter has been in Taekwondo for almost, my goodness, a year and a half now. I
Mhm.
stopped but it was just because we're grandfathered in now with the newsletters and things like that. But I was talking to another mom, and they even mentioned to me to think of any kind of like, maybe there's soccer, for example. We'll just use soccer, for example. So perhaps your kid is in soccer, or there's soccer organizations within the area. They might
Mhm.
be putting on summer camps that you don't even know about. So outreach to them. So just think of like, if you can't get into any other summer camps or anything like that, think of like the little like baseball league, summer camp, or soccer camp, swimming camp, or anything like that to outreach and just see if there's extra um, spaces or something else going on.
Yeah. And it always helps joining some local Facebook groups for
Yes.
parents in the neighborhood and just putting out the word. I see them coming up all the times like, help, I need from this to this time. I need a cam for a, I don't know, 6 to 7 year old who was into da da da. And there's usually really good support in that too, or some ideas that maybe others might not have thought of. So yeah, really leverage your network and outreach, and don't have to do it all alone. There's lots of people and businesses out there who are keeping an eye on it. So yeah, Facebook groups are the way to go for sure to get extra support and information.
I know my husband's not on Facebook. He's like anti-social media.
Oh my goodness, really? It's like you. Okay,
Opposites.
yeah.
But he's like, oh, you gotta get rid of Facebook. Da-da-da. I'm like, no, because I feel like at the end of the day, you can still find a community. Like sometimes you're not gonna click well in certain groups or click with certain people. But you know what? That's all about boundaries too, learning how to set those in, and also saying like I'm like such a people pleaser. So I go above and beyond sometimes, which can also hurt me. But the thing is like when you're in those Facebook groups, you can easily pull yourself out and pull yourself back if you feel like you're not in alignment. And I
Yeah.
find that sometimes we think that we have to do certain things because we see it on social media or whichever. But I think it's important to note that we have our own control on how we kind of pull back and belong to certain groups that are in alignment to us. But there's tons of Facebook groups. So I'm in like the so we live in one community, so there's that Facebook group, and then we have the full Facebook group, and then all of Victoria, and then like it's like endless.
Exactly. And sometimes organizations put on Facebook groups as well. And basically that's the only reason I'm still on Facebook too, is for those mom, parents, business communities in there and getting the support as well. And they
Exactly.
come in really handy for the summer tips and situations as well.
Mm. Yeah. Do you have any kind of tips? What if some families decide to stay within their area than going out? Because let's be honest, the economy is a little struggling right now. Things are pricey, and so to go away, like I'm on
Mhm.
the island, so even to come over to Vancouver, like that's a costly piece
Yeah,
for a lot of families, young families who want to even bring a vehicle over, because I don't even know the numbers off the top of my head, but at least $300
a couple
you're
of
paying
hundred.
to get
Yeah.
off the island, right?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So actually, one of the tips would that actually works for even if you're going on holiday or even
Mm.
staying going home is to make up a kind of a wish list together as a family.
Oh,
Like really sit around the table, make it a fun kind of experience, and kind of map out your summer or the weeks, and it's like, okay, what's something that's really exciting? It's like you're setting the framework. Obviously, we're staying in the area. There's a particular budget. You don't, if you wanted to go into that with your kids or not, depending really on what you value and how open you are, what your kids' ages are. But you can set the framework as a parent and say, this is what we can do. And let's just brainstorm. You can like put on a big piece of paper, or you can on a table, and everyone draw something on it or write something on it. You can use Post-it notes and colorful pens, and then just say, okay, this is something I've always been meaning to do, or during the summer I just want to spend time by the beach, or I want to just play soccer, or I want to, I've always been meaning to go to, I don't know, that water park, and you've never really gone to it. So you end up with a list of things that you can do. There might be, there might be a cost involved. It might not be. It could be, hey, I finally want to learn how to, I don't know, bake cakes with my kids, or something like that. Just really like listen and list everything that everyone wants to do, and then see together come up how you can actually do that, and put it in the calendar. Because if it stays on that list, it might just stay on that list. Like really make specific plans then. Okay, so when is a good day to do something like this?
I like that. Yeah, I was just going to say too, I find, because I used to work in visitor centers. So I used to work at, like, for example, Tourism Nanaimo. I used to work at Tourism Victoria. And I find that we sometimes forget what's actually within like arm's reach. And we live in such gorgeous places here on the island, you over Vancouver. Like there's a lot of places that we can navigate without spending a whole lot of money. And so if anyone's struggling, I advise you going to like your local visitor center and simply just ask them. That we're trained, well, like when I work there, we're trained to know the ins and outs to help guide like locals and also anyone just coming to visit, and just know like the different mapping pieces. Like I remember like there's so many like hiking trails, for example, on the islands, that I end up learning so much more because it's actually really popular for a lot of Europeans to come over. And they just love to hike. And so I just got to learn all these different like hiking trails that they end up knowing more about that and educating me. And I was like, oh yeah, I should go do that one day.
Yes, and there's always, you can totally go in and say, hey, this is my budget, or I don't have any budget at all. It's like, what are some free activities that are coming up? What are some free events? There's always something going on, especially during the summer. What are some free events or activities? Definitely check out local, like here they're called neighborhood houses, or like community centers that might be putting up something that's for free for families during the summer. Outdoor time, definitely, if you're near a beach, a lake, the hiking trails, a park, just get outside, bring a blanket, pack some lunches together, some favorite activity from everyone, even if it's a tablet for gaming for some of the kids or whatever. But you're outside and you're having, you might have your lunch outside, or what about even like breakfast? Let's just go and take it outside, enjoy the summer that way. Yes. And again, those Facebook groups, I see those posts and requests all the time. You don't even have to be in some groups. You have the option to post anonymously if if you want to do that, and just ask, what are some free activities? What are some low-cost activities? What's something I can do with my kids ages so and so to so and so? I'm based in this general area. And see, like, really make use of the creative or the broader minds of everyone and their ideas. And that also obviously includes visitor centers. Yes. if you're near one.
I find just especially when you live within the area, you tend to forget about visitor centers. But I think just because I'm so like versed in that area, and I feel like I was in the visitor centers for like 100 years, that it's just like, I'm like such a dork. Like when I see a visitor center, even though I know the area, I'm like, I'm going to go in there and get a map.
Yes.
Because they have like cute little like outlines that you might not even know of. So
Exactly.
I'm like such a dork. I seriously love visitor centers. So just if anyone's struggling on what to do with their kiddos or even just for themselves, go to the local visitor center because they can definitely point you in the right direction. We're
Mhm.
already at 30 minutes midway of the show. So, those just tuning in, welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. We are live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And we are just talking about, Nadine and I, summer tips and tricks for moms, parents, how to juggle life in a nutshell.
Staying cool during summer, making it
Yes.
through as a working parent.
Yes, which, let's kind of segue more into that. How can parents, moms, kind of time block? Because I know I was even thinking, I'll just use myself as an example of, I know August is probably going to be the hardest month to get work done. With the extra week off for my son, and then not even half days. Like I was even thinking it. I'm like, really, technically, when I get home, it's probably going to be 11, and then I have to probably leave because they're like out in the boonies. So I have to give my time to drive there. So technically, my schedule in August, I think, is going to be from 11 a.m. until 2-ish,
Hmm.
maybe. And that's like a short time frame. And even too, like I'm still navigating this schedule from September, still learning, have not finessed it yet. But from even working from 9 a.m. till 2, like I feel like sometimes it's just a little bit chaos for me. I book
Mhm.
back-to-back meetings. I'm cleaning up a mess over here, or I'm taking on discovery calls. So what are your suggestions?
Um, to the point of like back-to-back meetings, my
Yeah.
personal experience with that is not so good because that I just end up with a whole bunch of action items at
Hmm.
the end of the day, and it's like, okay, when am I going to do those then?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, I need to give myself a bit of grace. So, and also make sure that I keep myself in line. So, even just having like 15 minutes in between meetings, work meetings, really work because that can gives me enough time to take a breather, maybe shoot off an email right after that. At that first meeting, maybe schedule some time. So if there's any follow-up action items, I can already put it in the calendar and make time for that. I don't miss out on anything. Send out maybe a quick thank you email, get ready, take a deep breather, maybe have a, zip to drink and, maybe a quick snack before going into the next one.
Mhm.
That usually I figured it, but I didn't always used to do it that way. So that is definitely a learning experience for me with regards to meetings. And if there isn't a lot of time, I would, and I mean, for me, with not necessarily liking super hot temperatures, I would see like where am I most able to focus and effective. So it would be those earlier times during the day if that's possible. So obviously you need to get your kids out of bed, but um is there a way you can maybe get in an hour or two and just really work through the most essential things before
Mhm.
kids even get up, or later in the evening? Is there something you can do there, or and where do you actually go? So if you don't have aircon at home and it's just like really hot, is there a way where you can, I don't know, maybe even go to the local library with your laptop and get some work done there? Because
Mm.
it's more, it's
Yeah.
more like the temperature is more to your liking, and you can concentrate and focus more and really get that work in. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, there needs to be some flexibility in trying it out and seeing what works. But kind of coming back to something earlier, it's I, ideal ideally you're kind of aware of what challenges might be coming up. So even just taking a moment after today's session and thinking through for the next 3 months, okay, what is my time schedule like? Where am I required at work? What are the big things that I need to gear up for? How am I going to set up? Are the kids around? Are they not around? At what times? Where am I actually going to work? How did last year work out during those times? What do you want to change from last year to this year? What do you want to keep because it actually worked out well? And then take those steps to make that happen. And yeah, it's different. It's different for everyone, but the being prepared and anticipate without actually worrying too much about it, because there's that slope and rabbit hole as well, but like anticipate and then taking those steps to get yourself prepared as much as possible while also maintaining some flexibility. I think that really can make a difference of taking the surprise element out and actually taking action on something that's coming up.
Yeah. And I think just to note too, because there could be some listeners who have young kids, that like the biggest thing too is give yourself grace and not to overwhelm yourself in all the things like I'm doing, because I blame my ADHD. Get bored and just move on to the next. But really, like what I'm trying to practice even for myself and have more self boundaries is maybe limit how many discovery calls maybe I have in a week, and have like set, okay, only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, this is when I want people to book in my discovery calls. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like I meant, like circling back, like I'm such a people pleaser. Sometimes I move things around. And so it's just also for myself to make sure I have those boundaries in place so I don't feel like I'm frantically moving into meetings to meetings. Obviously, client meetings, unfortunately, sometimes I get pulled in because I do a lot of strategy stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out what makes sense there. Because if they're like working with the VA or OBM, and then I need to come in for an extra brain, sometimes that's why I end up getting more into back-to-back meetings. It's not to say I think I thrive on it. So like my age, I'm like, let's do this. Like dopamine hits.
There's a difference, because if you couldn't possibly do it because of a super full schedule, you won't be able to join those meetings, right? Something else would fall off the bandwagon. And it's something that where the schedule is already flexible enough, and it's something that's not happening all the time. So you're leaving okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days where, say, your kids are most covered or the longest covered during for daycare or camp. So those are the days that you probably get to do the most work, get most work done, basically. And that's when, you schedule things in. Only those 2 days are, particular type of work. And you can get pulled in for something and still set boundaries around it. And, it's not all the time, and it's something that you enjoy. And even then, you can still say, okay, I can join this meeting. I can join you for half an hour instead of, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to spend the next day with you as well.
I'm sometimes like a chatty Cathy. I've been told. In a good way, because usually we have like a full conversation of the business and then we go on a tangent about just life things. Trying to like focus is in. But that's something that I'm trying to do as well, is taking a step back and figure out what days kind of work in between. Like originally, Mondays, for example, I prefer not to have back-to-back meetings, especially if I know that the show's coming on for the hour, because it's hard for me to have those breaks and then, or even eat. And then really when we're done the show, I quickly do like check-ins of emails and I have to go pick up the kids. So I only have like no downtime, really. But usually like Fridays, for example, I like to call my CEO days and have those days for touch-ins of like bookkeeping. I don't know who else here is listening, but I do not like bookkeeping. I bet you my sister-in-law is listening. Like, she does my books. Thank you, Brooke. I just like have like, I know I get like the basics done, but like I try to leave Friday, for example, for bookkeeping, because if I let it go crazy, like,
Mm.
this is the first year of my business I did let it go like that, but I've put a lot of boundaries in for myself to show up and try to do any kind of extra receipts that I maybe haven't implemented into the system, and, like, I have, like, OCD with inbox, so, like, nothing needs to be in the inbox at the end of the day. So once Friday hits, my eyes like twitching because all I can see is like all these receipts that I have to put in.
Ah.
And so that's me to get motivated to like take a step back. Okay, let's do your bookkeeping for like 30 minutes. So you
Mhm.
think if you're leaving that kind of stuff to the end of the month or end of the year, things are going to get lost. I'm all about like, let's give all the receipts because if Revenue Canada ever comes at me, like
There
I've
you
tipped
go.
their
That's
book.
exactly, exactly. And that's, you learned, you reflected on what's going on and how you can implement it. And it's the same way for anything coming up for the summer, right? So again, it's like what worked in the last years, what didn't, and for getting your own work done as a parent, and what didn't, and
Mhm,
then put that in. Just be very mindful about what's going on, and that you're giving yourself some grace, because
mhm.
it's also supposed to be fun. Don't forget about the fun. Let's have some
Yeah.
fun
And also the
during summer
kids,
too. So
it's, and Terry just said, when you're self-employed, you're always pivoting, which
hmm,
is 100% true. I feel
absolutely, yes.
like not every day is a pivot. Uh, it's so true. I'm like just thinking about that today. I'm like, I've been pivoting all day. And then even thinking, I'm like, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, we'll figure it out. But that's the thing is like when you're building your business and like you're mentioning giving yourself grace, you're figuring out how you can work within the business and outside the business. You're thinking of how you can show up not feeling guilty with the kiddos. You're figuring out um, like so many different pieces. So that's why you're always going to be pivoting no matter what on every aspect. And there's not even in 10 years from now, you're probably never going to fully figure it out because things are constantly going to change. So, like right now, I feel like I'm in the thick of it because my kids are so young. So I have to be there a lot. But then it's probably going to be weird in years from now when they can like do their own thing. And then I'm probably going to have to pivot again because I have more time in my schedule to do X, Y, and Z.
And then you want to be involved, and they're like, "Nah, mom, it's okay. You don't need to come."
My daughter's already like that though. It's kind of
Yeah.
scary. She's like, "Can you just drop me off right here?" I'm like, "No, I will walk you to class." Already shoving me out. Miss Independent. She's so funny. That I don't know if you watched the other show previously, but we had a call from the principal because she apparently, quote unquote, was eating fertilizer.
She's eating
Just
fertilizer. Oh no.
one little sample, but like we got the call and I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to use this on your wedding day. This is perfect. This is gold." Like this is
Way to
remember
see the fun bit in it.
the collage, remember the time when. No, but um no, I think it's a really important thing for a lot of people, parents, moms, even if you didn't have kids, I think it's important to take the summer too and take like some time for yourself and prioritize what makes sense for you because unfortunately in the wintertime we do get depressed sometimes. We get kind of in that lump. So this is the time when things are a bit nicer, what we can do. So let's say we had no limitations, Nadine. What would you do?
During summer to
Yeah.
recharge.
To recharge with your kiddo, not kiddo, whatever, like
Mm.
what makes sense? Family.
Mm. Well, I've just returned from vacation last night,
Okay. That's still right.
and that was kind of perfect. And so I'm German. I've visited my family for the last couple of weeks in Germany with my family. Thankfully, that was possible because I do my own. I run my own business too, and I build in that flexibility, which is absolutely a privilege. And I was like, every day, I was like so grateful and really acknowledging that that we were able to do this. But it was a bit of touch and go, like if we could do this or not. And I remember reading at the beginning of the year, I read a newsletter from one of the um, newspapers that I subscribe to, and they had a list of things that their readers recommended, things, or just things to do for the year, or sayings that they live by. And one of the quickest tips that was on the list that really struck out, not just for being short, but for what it represents and where it was in life, was, so the recommendation for the year ahead from that reader was just book the trip. As in, it, for me, I not just read this as, go on vacation and have some fun, but it's also go and do that passion project that you've been pushing off for so long. Go and start living life now, not when X, Y, and Z is in place. Like, live with purpose now, do fun things now. And so this really struck out, and it actually made it onto my my vision board for this year as well. It's like, just live with passion now. Just don't put anything off. Do it now. And so when it was like, should we book the trip or not during summer, I was like, okay, let's do it. Can we do it? How can we make it happen? Okay, let's do that. And so if there aren't any limitations, go for the thing that you really want to do. And that's different for every person. For me, I really wanted to connect with my family again, who I haven't seen in over a year. I wanted to really dive into some culture. So there were lots of like churches and castles and monasteries and plenty of old buildings and nice cafes, and just strolling and enjoying it all, and not doing anything for an afternoon, sitting in my parents' back garden and watching the birds while my kiddo runs barefoot and catches the chickens. That for me is something that I really wanted to do, and that struck out. And sometimes it doesn't have to be like that much. I know the trip itself was really cool, but for the rest of the summer, because summer is really only just coming up, it could be as simple as, I know my kid really enjoys picnics, so we're back to that, and outdoors and running around barefoot. So a beach or a park it's going to be. I love reading, so I'm going to have a book with me. Not sure how if that's too optimistic or not. Homemade cakes, or just something really fun to nibble on, and a shaded spot with lots of other things to for kid to enjoy, and a ball and some coloring in, and off you go. That's where we're going to stay for the next 3 hours. Just go and run and have some fun, and discover some insects and play in the dirt.
I find
What about you?
The whole premise, though, too, of like the radio show, or the radio show, is like that worthiness, right? Is that we are all worthy of our own time, worthy of our own passions. And so I think if anyone's listening right now, is to challenge a bit of those narratives of what's like the deep-seated like passion that you've always thought of. And like we previously chatted on the show, that it doesn't matter what age you are, and if you have that dream, pursue it. If it's going on traveling, going somewhere in the summer, might not even be in the summer, it could be in the fall or winter, just do that trip. You know what everyone keeps talking about lately is Japan, and going to like going over there. I actually I've always thought about Japan and be really neat to go. And I was saying to my husband, like, it'd be neat is going to Japan and see it, but then also going to like the Disneyland or world that they have there versus California. So you can do like going somewhere neat, but then also experiencing the rides as well.
Yes. Yes. It doesn't have to be just the one thing. It can be, don't have to choose necessarily. It's like you make it your own thing, just do it
Yeah.
though. That's the thing. Just do it.
I find that I think we get a little bit consumed sometimes in day-to-day life, and we sometimes forget to have fun. I know, like, as a mom, like, that's definitely something I'm trying to remember. Like, as you coach other moms, like, that's something where I'm like, I don't even remember. Don't even remember what I like to wear. Like, when I go
Yes.
to like, clothing stores, I'm like, I don't even remember, or do I even know what I like anymore because my fashion has changed so much, or I don't feel comfortable in certain clothes. So I just never know like what's me. So taking that time of like reevaluating doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. I think we need to open up that conversation that it's good. It's good for
Yeah.
us to have those conversations and ask
Absolutely.
questions.
Yeah. And, it's like when moms come to me and they're kind of new to my community and we haven't had previous conversations, then one of the questions that actually ask when it's like, when they're stuck in the grind or they don't actually know what they like, there's this question of what makes you happy? What do you do for fun? And it's such a simple question, but it brings up a lot of emotions. The what do you do for fun? Because
Mm-hmm.
there usually isn't that much. Not, oftentimes it's like I don't actually quite know what I enjoy anymore because it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. Um, and it's the okay, let's tap into what do you do enjoy? We can experience that together. We can try it out and figure out what it is that lights you up, gives you that energy and the passion. And then actually make it happen. And it doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going out and start horseback riding and I'm going to get my own horse or whatever. It can be as simple as, I really used to enjoy reading books.
Mm-hmm.
Or I really love just going to a cafe and watch people walk by.
Mm-hmm.
And none of these things have to, come with a big price tag or lots of energy involved to get it organized or lots of time either. Sometimes it's dedicated, mindful 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That could be that, right? But it starts usually those small actions build up to something much larger that's sustainable, but it's starting with those small fun things, whatever that
Exactly.
is.
It's
So
just kind of like going back to like um New Year's goals, right? Like I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, even though you've never been before. Like that's not going to be an easy switch or might not even be sustainable.
Mhm.
So sustainable or attainable. So what can you do to get to just that one step? So like the ideas that we had, which I actually really like this idea, and I think we should totally do this as a family, is just asking the kiddos of like, oh, what do you want to do this summer? Or what do you want to do one week? Go to the park. Okay, let's do that. Dad, what do you want to do that other week? So then it's not just like one, just taking maybe a pick, or even putting it all in a hat and have like a fun game out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And it also makes it gets everyone involved. It's not dictated. Even, even your toddler wants to choose what type of color their, cup is going to be. So,
Yeah.
right? So it's that way everyone gets to have a go and it's not dictated or it's like put there, but everyone gets to do something that they like during the summer holidays, and you could make it fun and then put some pictures next to it too, or you can do a collage or a vision board. This is our summer.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and that it should be fun, right? Especially with kids when they're so young, because let's be honest, they're young for only so long. They get older and soon they're probably like, don't talk to me, mom, dad,
So yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in my room.
Yeah, but it's those things that, like, how did you feel during the summer? How did you, get appreciated, or the memories type of experiences, right? Have experience some fun times together rather than just having a thing or something that they feel they need to be doing even though they don't like it. But sitting around and creating a plan together is like, and that's really okay. You put it in the calendar. Today we're going to do what the sister has said. Today, next week we're going to go after the thing and do all the things together that mom wanted to do. And even if that means mom wants to have some some me time, then that's going to be respected too.
Yes.
But it's like everyone gets to do something, and that is also creating a nice bond and support system within the family as well, which is
Yes.
really beautiful.
100%. And I find if you have like a fun game out of it, and that can be something you can kind of mold into every summer. So it's kind of like that fun expectation, even when they get older, that that's something that it's kind of like, what is that word? I don't want to say family. Yes, thank you. That's the word.
Yeah.
Family tradition. That is just like something fun that we do, especially when they get older. It will still be a fun twist because they still get to have that kind of input as well. And that's another reason why I want my daughter in all these different camps, because maybe when she gets older, she might be like, yeah, I actually really do like that camp. Or I don't like that camp because of X, Y, and Z. Let's try this camp. There might be something out there that might be of interest. Like I used to be in horseback riding camp. I loved horseback riding. That's a random fact. I used to have all the certificates over back in the day.
I didn't even know. Cool.
I used to, yeah, it was Camp Homewood, what it was called, and like on Quadra Island. And my mom would send me there. I would say that's the one thing that I always looked forward to do in the summer.
Yeah.
To go for a week.
And at some stage, it might be when the kids are old enough. It's like, okay, this year I want to earn some money, and I'm going to be the camp teacher.
Exactly.
Right?
It's
so it turns around. Yeah.
100%. I'm just looking at the time because we're almost at time here. Maybe because you have a new freebie that I just put up in there.
Yeah. So, we were talking about nurturing mama as well and giving mama some me time, quiet time. And I have a bundle, a free gift bundle that contains some calming meditations. There's some really beautiful affirmation cards in there as well, and a self-love and gratitude journal for moms as well. And that's all bundled together, totally free. You just need to enter your email address and keep an eye on your inbox, and then you'll get that. And it's beautiful. All those activities can actually be done in under 3 minutes each daily, which is ideal if you'd wanted to start your day off right, or use it as a beautiful opportunity to calm down in the evening before bedtime or as part of your bedtime routine, which is really, really cool.
Love that.
It's free. Just click the link and
amazing. So it's just anyone who can view right now. It's within the link right below us. If anyone is just listening, I'll throw it within comments as well here.
Oh, cool. Actually,
let's do that now before, mom brain. Before I forget, let's just throw it in the comments.
Oh, I know. We were just before we came on air, we were both talking about how we might need to support each other today due to mom brain and jet lag and all those things going on. I think we've managed really, really well. Brittney is like, high five.
We made it. We did it for the Well, thank you, Nadine, for coming on the show today. Always lovely having you. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Next week, Monday, which is going to be June 3rd, which is crazy, we have Isabel coming in from Leap Zone. So excited to have Isabel in, and we're talking about her journey, how to build branding, and kind of have that secret sauce in your business. So come in, take a listen, and make sure you bring your questions for us next week. It's going to be a good one. I'm very pumped. So with that, everyone, until next week, remember your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.